Glad you're streaming with us on this Friday. A growing crisis in South America is leaving hundreds of Venezuelan migrants stranded at the border between Peru and Chile. The migrants have been trying to get into Peru with the hopes of continuing on to their home country. Well, we've come across these shocking images showing the migrants actually shoving Peruvian Border Patrol officers after they say they were denied entry due to lack of documents. Peru's president is now declaring a state of emergency at the border, hoping to stop the violence. Chilean lawmakers are calling on all countries now in the area to create a humanitarian corridor that would allow migrants to pass through safely. ABC News' Matt Rivers is in Mexico, joins me now with more. So, Matt, why is this happening now?
Well, you have a lot of Venezuelan migrants who, after years of having been outside of their country, they do one of two things. Either they head north, oftentimes here to Mexico, to the United States, or after having stayed in places like Chile or Colombia for years, they actually try and go back to Venezuela thinking that maybe things aren't so bad. And so what you have here is a group of hundreds of largely Venezuelan migrants who are making their way north from Chile. They want to get into Peru, move on to Ecuador, then Colombia, and then eventually back to Venezuela. And the Peruvian government is simply not allowing these migrants to cross. This is not a migrant crossing that is super common. This is not a really common migratory route that you see people take all the time. And what you're seeing with the Peruvian officials here is that they're saying that these Venezuelan migrants don't have the proper documents to pass through their country. That creates a flashpoint type situation. You're seeing these Venezuelan migrants clash with Peruvian officials. The Peruvian president has asked for constitutional reforms to allow her to send the military to this part of their country in order to try and quell some of this unrest. And on the Chilean side, you already have members of the military that have been deployed to this region. You've got lawmakers who are urging a humanitarian corridor be opened. But the reality is there doesn't seem to be a solution materializing rapidly at this point, hence this ongoing situation, Kira.
Well, so how bad do you think this could get then?
Well, it depends on how long they're going to be forced to stay there. It depends on how fast the politicians on both sides of the border can come up with some sort of solution. But what we're hearing from the Peruvian president is a pretty hard line in the sand here. It doesn't appear that she is a person who is ready to let these migrants cross and ready to accede perhaps to some sort of humanitarian corridor. In fact, the Chileans or the Peruvians are basically accusing the Chileans of pushing their migration problems, as they call it, onto the Peruvians. So it doesn't seem like there's a lot of goodwill on both sides here to come to a conclusion here. And remember where this is happening. This is the Atacama Desert. This is one of the the highest, most driest deserts in the entire world. Extremely hot temperatures during the day, bitterly cold temperatures at night. These are migrants that are not suited for that weather, given what they're bringing with them. They don't have clothing, they don't have shelter, and so it could end very badly as this situation continues.
Yeah, it's pretty harsh in South America right now. And so Chile is actually debating a law that would impose a pretty stiff jail sentence if you are caught entering the country illegally. Tell us more about this.
Yeah, so this could be it would classify irregular immigration as a crime with a jail sentence up to 541 days for anyone who had entered Chile illegally. But rather than just looking at that single debate, I think you can also just look at that as an example of how much of an issue migration is across this region. It's Chile debating migration laws. It's Mexico debating migration laws. It's Colombia. It's obviously the United States. Migration is not an issue that only affects one country. You see countries up and down the Western Hemisphere having to deal with migration issues. Some Congresses dealing with it differently than others, but I think it goes to show you how much of an issue this is in societies all over the Western Hemisphere as we continue to grapple with issues of migration.
We'll cover it, that's for sure. Matt Rivers there in Mexico City for us. Matt, thanks.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.